So the first card that we have coming up as an underlying energy is the Five of Cups. This is a card of grief, of regret. It can be when we're mourning the loss of something. It can even be when we feel like we've missed an opportunity and we feel like we've lost out on something. It's an interesting card, and it does speak of real sadness and real grief. As we can see in this card, there is a man kneeling on the ground, and it looks like, he looks kind of wretched, like with his hands up to his head, and he looks very sad. And we see that 3 cups have fallen over, and he appears to be mourning the loss of whatever spilled out of those cups, or that they have toppled over. But what he doesn't see, because he's so lost in his grief, are the 2 cups behind him. Now, I make sure to tell that story every time I get the 5 of Cups in a reading, because those 2 cups that stand behind this guy, they are there to signify that all is not lost. Now, those 2 cups, I see them as the 2 of Cups. And the 2 of Cups speaks of a beautiful union, of a relationship, or of support, or of love that is there for you, but we just don't see it. Now, sometimes it's not a judgment. It's when we're feeling grief, when we're feeling that distraught, even if someone is right in front of us, ready to help us or to make us feel better, sometimes we're just not ready for that. We're just not ready for it. So I feel like it is important to respect that loss that we're experiencing and the emotions that we're going through. But the message here is that all is not lost. And like this guy, when you're done grieving, when you're done mourning the loss of whatever has transpired in your life, you will be ready to get up and to see that those 2 cups are still standing there and that all is not lost. Some heavy energies in your reading this time, Libra. Not necessarily bad, but they are heavy. We have the Wheel of Fortune coming up next, and that's at the heart of your reading. This can speak of like karmic situations that come back round again. I've been seeing this card come up a lot during this kind of retrograde phase. It speaks of, at its very core level, it's about fate. It's about the wheel of fate that keeps turning. And it reminds us that as this wheel keeps turning, that if the good times don't last, why would the bad times last? But as an energy coming up at the heart of your reading, I feel like it's telling you that whatever you're going through now, like some of you might feel like, haven't I done this before? Why am I on this merry-go-round again? Why does this keep happening to me? I keep changing or growing or doing the things that I want to do or trying different things, and yet I always seem to end up in the same space. And that's the karmic nature of the Wheel of Fortune that I'm talking about, where our wheel comes back round again and we experience the same thing to show that we have learned a lesson, that we know how to do things differently. So I do feel like some of you may be going through that, may be experiencing situations, relationships, people, even if it's not the same people coming back around again. For some of you it may be, but even if it's just a feeling within you or a situation that you find yourself in that is echoes like an experience or a situation that you had in the past, there is that sense of, things coming back around again, of having done this before, but you're not the same person now, Libra. You're a different person. And the reason I say you're not the same person is we have the Judgment card coming up as a past energy. The Judgment card talks about transformation, change, renewal, rebirth. It can relate to a situation. It can relate to ourselves. But even if it's a situation, it will still transform us because we're the ones experiencing it. And it is that energy very much of the phoenix rising up from the ashes, Libra. So whatever you've been through, it's changed you and transformed you immensely. But that change isn't like automatic. I always say with this card that it's called judgment for a reason. And that's because we have to take that final judgment. We have to make that final judgment. The energy of this card is very much that once that decision gets made, once that judgment is made, things will never be the same again. It's a change that happens from there. So maybe you've had to make a decision about a relationship or within your love life. And that will involve looking back over what's happened, looking back over the experiences that you've had. Very powerful kind of 1-2 punch there with the Wheel of Fortune and the Judgment card. So it's like looking back over these situations, the karmic lessons that you've learned, and putting that to rest once and for all, just putting it to rest. Now that can involve forgiving other people. And by forgiving, I mean just releasing that anger or resentment or hatred or hurt, betrayal, whatever it is that we have connected to a situation or a person or a relationship, whatever we feel, because no matter what's been done to us, we're the ones that suffer when we go through those kind of emotions, and we're connected to that. Like that's the Five of Cups, that grieving card. He's the one that is suffering. In the same way, if someone's left you or someone's done you wrong, Libra, they can be off doing whatever, but you're the one that suffers. And That's not to downplay what you're feeling. That's not to downplay anything. But at some point, you get to the stage where you have to let it go. And forgiveness is a good way of doing that. I spoke to, I don't know which sign it was. I think maybe it was Virgo or Leo. Well, it was one of the signs just before yours. And they got a very similar message with judgment. And I'm going to tell you the same thing that I told them, which is oftentimes we have to forgive the other person or even forgive ourselves. Sometimes we can be really brutally hard on ourselves that, how could I have allowed that to happen to me? How could I have been so silly to have gotten into that relationship? How could I have trusted that person? And it's just about understanding that you did the best that you could with the information and the experiences that you had at that time. Now you know differently. And once you can put that to rest, once you can allow whatever has been to just understand that it has transformed me. I'm now not the same person. It allows you to drop that fear and you can then step into your future. And it's a brand new bright future that comes ahead of you because, like I said, this is change, transformation. We have another major arcana coming up for you next. You have 4 in a 6-card spread. Major arcanas are all about major life changes. So with 4 major arcanas out of 6 cards, I feel like there's a lot kind of going on at the moment where we can't necessarily fight against it. We always have free will, but when a lot of major arcana cards come up, it's like our situations force us to endure stuff, or we're going through a lot of kind of external energies that come at us. So our free will allows us to decide how we behave within those situations, but we can't necessarily stop what's happening to us. And you have the High Priestess coming up in the present, and the present energy is the main energy of this period. Now, the High Priestess, she's the keeper of secrets. She's the keeper of all knowledge. So this card can talk about intuition. It can talk about trusting our gut feeling. There's this strong kind of message coming through, where I can kind of see a lot of you Libras not really trusting yourself, that whatever you've been through, you've changed. You're not the same person. You have gone through that judgment energy. But if you've still got that 5 of Cups and you're still kind of grieving, there may be this thing that you don't trust how you feel. So, you may be doubting yourself now, not trusting your instincts. Your intuition might be telling you one thing, but because of whatever's gone on, because of whatever losses you've experienced in the past, you're now not sure. You're like, well, I made a mistake in the past. Maybe I'm going to decide something wrong now. And Libras, you guys always like to weigh up the pros and cons anyway of any situation, and it takes you a while to get to a decision. But it feels like now you are not trusting yourself, trusting what you intuitively know. The High Priestess, it does talk about secrets, like I said, but it's not like the moon energy. I find the moon energy is more confusing. I always feel like with the High Priestess, there's signs, there's intuition, there's that gut feeling that we kind of know what is happening, that the knowledge that we need is already within us, but it's just opening up and trusting that. And that can be difficult when we have that 5 of Cups energy, which sits above the High Priestess. And we have another 5 coming up for you in the future, and that is the 5 of Swords. Now, the future energy doesn't usually play out during this period. It's the card that tells you, which way are you headed? What's the goal if you carry on this path? It can be changed as a potential future. We have the 5 of Swords here. Now, 5s, they're temporary energies, but they are energies of change, and they can be very intense and very difficult to kind of handle when they're happening. They can feel really big when they're happening. And the 5 of Swords, it speaks about a victory, but a kind of empty victory. It's that energy of doing whatever it takes to get the victory that you want, to get the results that you want, that you do whatever it takes. Now, this may not be you. This may be someone that's been in your life that's done this to you. I feel like this has already happened for a lot of you. I know it's coming up in the future, but because of the Judgment card, because of the High Priestess and the card that comes after the 5 of Swords, Justice, I feel like this 5 of Swords energy is not something new. I feel like it's been going on for a while, especially with that 5 of Cups there. But as the 5 of Swords comes after the High Priestess, I feel like you, Libra, know that this has kind of happened. Or maybe, like I said, some of you have done this. Again, no judgment. If you're coming from a place of grief, if you were afraid to lose something, you may have, gone beyond what you normally would have in order to achieve some victory or to get something, but it would have cost you. If we look at that 5 of Swords card, we see that guy holding up the sword and he's looks victorious. But in the background, we have someone mourning. It could be the guy that's in the 5 of Cups sitting at the back. So if you're mourning the loss of something, if something's happened, I feel like it's going to come out, fully come out with this 5 of Swords energy in the future. But it feels ongoing. It doesn't feel like something new, especially as we have that Wheel of Fortune card sitting above the 5 of Swords. It feels like this is something that's coming back round again. So maybe if you were the person that was left, if someone stole from you, had conflict with you, did some kind of underhanded things with you. Now you get the chance to maybe confront them about that. If you are the one that did this to someone else, Libra, then don't be surprised if that person comes back round again and confronts you about what happened. Either way, I don't really ever see any winners in this card. It feels like everyone's at a loss when this comes up, especially in a relationship reading. It feels like whoever did the deed, like, the underhanded thing or the empty victory, has been an empty victory for them, that it's cost them more than they ever could have envisioned it would have cost them. Now, the card that gets us here and the card that leads us to the future is the crowning energy. The crowning energy is usually where we end this period, and also it's advice on how we reach our goals, how we achieve those things that we want to manifest. And you have the Justice card here. It's another karmic card. You guys seem to be going through some huge kind of karmic changes at the moment. And the Justice card, it's your card, Libra. It is your energy. It's very much about bringing balance to a situation through justice. On a very kind of mundane, practical level, and you know I like to usually concentrate on the energies of the cards. But if we apply this to everyday situations, this can sometimes talk about legal matters, contracts, those types of things. But as an energy, it is very balancing, and it feels like you're getting to a more balanced place. By the middle of the month, you will be there. But with that Judgment card sitting above it, it does feel like this is a situation from the past. I'm getting that very strongly. I don't feel this is for most of you, this is not going to be with someone new. It's just not going to be with someone new. The energy feels like it's been there for a while. Like this is something that's being addressed again, but being addressed properly. This time with that knowledge and intuition of the High Priestess as the kind of intervening factor that's changed things. And that also of Judgment, because you've transformed, because having gone through this once, it has changed you. All I would say to you is that with that Five of Swords, with the Justice card, if someone comes back round to you, try to be fair in no matter what they've done to you. And I understand they may have hurt you. That Grief card, it makes quite a statement about where you are emotionally. But the fairness that I'm kind of asking you to show this person or their situation, and this could be someone that you're in a relationship with now. Maybe you're in a situation, something's come to light, and you're trying to decide what you want to do. You're trying to decide, well, do I want to leave? Do I want to put up with this? What am I going to do? I'm asking you to be fair, not for that other person, but for yourself. Because you have that Two of Cups in the Five of Cups. But the only way you're going to get to that is by getting up, by, getting over whatever that loss is, getting over whatever you're mourning, whatever missed opportunities there's been, whatever's happened, whatever's causing this sadness. You have to work through that. And sometimes we can work through that through a confrontation or through just getting that final closure over a matter, even if we don't want to leave that person. This doesn't mean that you're going to end something with someone. So if you're in a relationship, it can just mean that you resolve that situation once and for all. But I do feel like there's this need for balanced approach to it and understanding, knowing that even if someone's done us wrong, they may think what they did was just. So what's the advice from the Oracle cards? Well, the first card that comes up from the Romance Angels deck is You Deserve Love. You are lovable. I was just telling Virgo this because Virgo got the same card, that this card keeps coming up. It's been about a month now, and this card keeps coming up. It's like people need to be reminded that they are lovable. Sometimes when people do things the way they behave, and they're doing things for themselves, but it feels like a statement on us that, that we're not lovable. Why would someone do this to me? Is there something wrong with me? And this is saying, no, you deserve love. You are lovable. But everyone's got their own issues. Everyone's coming from their own kind of messes, I guess. So please remember that. Please remember that you do deserve love. Even when you're going through that grieving situation, whatever changes are going through, whatever kind of balance you're trying to bring to the situation, whatever truths are being uncovered now, you do deserve love and you are lovable. If you have to show justice to someone, if you have to be fair to someone, don't forget to show that to yourself. I mean, that's one of the most important things we can look at in love readings is the love that we show ourselves. And then the advice from the Whispers of Love Oracle deck is number 29, forgiveness. Nothing can be gained by holding on to past disappointments. And this is kind of very much what your cards are kind of saying as well. For some of you, I think you feel like you've forgiven someone, or you may have moved on from that situation, but then maybe something happens that triggers something in you and you realize that there might be something more that you need to work through. I do see it as a very cleansing energy though, Libra. Healing isn't easy. it's not much consolation when you're going through it, but when we're going through painful situations, when we're feeling those kind of churning emotions and the grief or the mourning or whatever it is that we're going through, that's actually a healing because we're working through things. And I know, like I said, it's not any kind of consolation. Who wants to feel like that? No one. But it is getting you to where you need to be, and you have justice coming up. That is your energy, like I said, and it is a very kind of balanced card. I wish you the best of luck, Libra, but I kind of hope, I do get that sense that this is it. This is like the final leg of whatever that painful thing is that you've been going through. And your ruler, Venus, she's retrograde, yes, but she's only retrograde until the middle of the month. So this is the last leg of her retrograde as well. So good luck to you, and you have to let me know how it goes.